Hello everybody, this is week 5 from me and Rez, and I've got a bunch of updates and a critical response to give you. In the news, I have officially been sworn in by the Canadian Forces Armoured Reserves. I am now an officer cadet. It's been finalized, set in paper, and written down 1,000 times in my paperwork. So, every Thursday now, I report for duty, and I do what I can do without having any official formal training. While I did do my BMQ, Basic Military Qualification, in 2004-2005, I still need to go over all the material again because it's been over 5 years. And I do my BOTP, Basic Officers Training Program. Those are my roommate, and I go away all next summer, all of June, all July, all of August. I go to Gagetown, New Brunswick, CFB Gagetown. That's okay, so I have my military stuff tucked away, now it's just to report for duty and do my thing. I still have my 2 jobs on campus, plus the military. I'm an exam proctor for exams not written with normal classes, students with disabilities, dyslexia, people who require more time. I observe them writing the exam. It's 1 job. And I teach a class on environmental studies here at Grenfell to the ESL students. It's like an SI session, but it's a little bit more intensive because they need English prep as well. I dropped all but 3 classes. I'm involved in Environmental Studies 3000, Environmental Economics. I'm involved in Economics 2010, which is microeconomics, and I'm involved in Earth Sciences 2150, which is planetary systems. It's an astronomy course. All three of which will help me towards my application to the master's program. Now, working with the proctoring position, I was farmed out to a woman who works here at Grenfell towards securing jobs, like a work placement coordinator, I guess. And I worked at the job fair that was here in Corner Brook on Thursday. No problem. Apparently I ran the show, and the other women just stayed back and picked up the slack where it was necessary, but they let me do my thing, which worked out beautifully. Though I did meet with people from Government of Newfoundland and Labrador Natural Resources Department and Government of Newfoundland and Labrador Environment and Conservation Department. Had a wonderful chat with them. It turns out that I may have some friends in the Conservation Department. They want to help me with my project, my thesis, which I'll get to in a second. And the individuals at Natural Resources, I spoke with the woman who actually is responsible for approving grants for the same project, the same application, the same grant that I want to apply for funding for my master's program. Fantastic. Without that funding, I can't go to university as a grad student. They will not take me unless I'm already paid for. And if someone funds my university, that means that they want my research, which means that they want me to work for them to prove my research as a research assistant or whatever, working as a master's graduate for that particular business. I also spoke with NALCOR, or rather representatives from NALCOR, and they suggested that I apply to them as well. Sorry, I'm still getting over my head cold from last month. So they suggested that I may want to apply to NALCOR, give them a proposal of what I wanted to do, and instead of costing them millions of dollars for a 2-year-long research thesis, I can do it for them for 12 grand. That might work out well for me. I also spoke with Natural Resources about what my grant will be, what my application will be, my thesis. The first half of it was supposed to be cataloging all the crown lands in Canada, in western Newfoundland, and determining which of the crown land forestry areas, the woods you can cut wood for your fire, for your furnace, which of those areas are viable for agriculture. So that was part A of my plan, my fiendish strategy. Turns out they have it done already. Fantastic. Work I don't need to do is good for me. And I can get access to that as a research type person. So now my research is pared down completely into what can I do for my thesis. So I approached everyone on my Facebook account, and if you like, check me out on Facebook, Robin Gosse, R-O-B-I-N-G-O-S-S-E, about the industry professionals. A number of people there have been inspirations to me for a long time. Scott Sandoz, for one, and a lot of eco-village groups, permaculture groups, aquaculture, earthships, the whole nine yards. I've got hundreds of people on my list that I've come to admire. A lot of these big industry professionals, big names in the permaculture industry, have been sharing my work. They seem pleased with it, and that's a feather in my cap. So my idea now is designing an eco-village template to go with that idea. If you have a farming site that's available and you apply for a block of land to make a small-scale organic farm, and you wanted to go off-grid, away from telephone poles, so rather than having the city, or the province rather, run telephone poles and water systems to your site, it'll be completely a package deal. Solar power, rainwater recycling, drill tap wells, equipment for everything you need. It'll be ideally airdropped by a helicopter in a shipping container. And the shipping container can become part of your house, and it's a package with everything you needed. All the solar, batteries, inverters, everything. That's the way that I'm planning it. We'll see how that goes, updates to follow. But I am pleased that a very friendly Facebook user, Don Cherryful, sent me a very interesting letter recently, a message, and I will repost my web address to the EcoVillage website on this link. But due to a variety of circumstances that I won't get into, she is interested in the project and asked me some very cutting questions. I'll go over some of them here just as a thank you for taking the time to write it to me, Miss Cherryful. She asked if I'm declaring sovereignty. By that I assume you mean independent from a city or a province or a country. We are not. At best, it's just going to be an industrial farm type thing. We'll have our own name, we'll have our own post office box. It won't be like the Vatican, which is a country within the bounds of the city of Rome. It'll be more like a subdivision, where everyone has a huge block of land and you're encouraged to farm off that block. But no, not sovereignty so much officially as we are sovereignty in principle. She asked me if I was forgetting about licensing to drive, and no, I would like everyone in the community to have the driver's license, even a Class 3, I think Class 3, able to drive the heavy equipment. The more people who get it, the better. And about licensing as well, I spoke with the conservation people, and we can get, insofar as hunting, we can get a party license, so we can break up every, if one person applies for a license, someone else can't hunt their moose for them, or their partridge, or their game, whatever, for them. They have to do it themselves. So what we could do is get a party license. If we have 10 people who love to hunt and will live to hunt, then we get 10 teams. The entire community breaks up into 10 teams. Each team applies for a number of moose, or for example, moose, arbitrarily example. As they have people on their team, they will get however many moose licenses, and then the best hunter on the team is in that party, can hunt the animals and then ticket them and then bring them back to the community. So thank you so much, you nameless gentlemen from Environmental and Conservation of the Province of Newfoundland and Labrador. I don't like getting out names if I can avoid it. Licensing. Next question. How are you keeping your seeds viable, and what will you do if your crops get wiped out by bugs, hail, drought, or thieves? Seed viability is easy enough. You can store them indoors in waterproof jars. We will have a granary for seeds. Not maybe a silo so much, because we won't have 10,000 acres of canola or anything. So individual seeds will be stored individually, and things like potatoes can be left until harvest time in a cellar or the granary, and then let to go sprout, and this sort of stuff. We don't get hail bad enough here to really worry about. Newfoundland is a very, very wet province. It's always raining, it's always damp. Last summer was pretty dry, and farmers still had good crops. So drought isn't really an issue here. If it is a problem, we'll just develop a system for irrigation. Thieves, not really a problem either. We can have fencing to get rid of the animals, keep dogs and wolves out, moose and deer. But thieves are much of an issue. It's a very, very rural area, and people usually keep to themselves. Not much of a problem with that. And this is Newfoundland. We don't have any bug problems, other than the occasional infestation of like aphids or something. But you can do sister cropping. You partner for example, corn, bean, and a squash, which the corn gets rid of the bean bugs, squash gets rid of the corn bugs, and so on, so no problem for bugs there. But seed viability, we're going to store them indoors. We have a specific industry of the community designed to maintain seed crops that preserve fruits, pickling, bottling, jerky, whatever we need. And there's a slaughterhouse right across the street, so that's taken care of by way of preserving the meat. We will sell... Okay, next question, sorry, before I get ahead of myself. Where are you getting the money? The money initially will be funded by me personally. This is my baby, my project. Officially, it's my business. Getting it around some red tape and corporate cooperatives and stuff. Initially, it's going to be a sole proprietorship, my business, my farm, and I will bring people in to farm for me. Later on, though, we're going to sell the excess. I know I mentioned this in other videos, but for the sake of recap. We'll sell the excess in a farmer's market truck. We'll buy an 18-wheeler, eventually. We'll have a 53-foot, possibly shipping container on back that's been modified right to hell. So every morning, get up at 4 a.m. or something, put everything we need in the truck. If we're doing a farmer's market in Port aux Basques, for example, about an hour south of the site, we can prepare everything we know that sells there. If we know they never buy blueberries, we won't put blueberries on the truck. The next day, next morning, we can pack it up and bring it in to Corner Brook or Deer Lake or Stephenville, and put what we know will sell with a few other things to gauge the market interest. And that sort of thing. We may even be able to rent a truck. Buy a trailer, buy the container, and rent the truck as we need to. We'll see how that goes. But that's where we're going to get the money. Farmers markets, also online sales. How are you going to handle it? Crisis like illness. We have homeopathic medicine on site. Herbs to solve most problems. A broken leg can be bandaged up and splinted, and then brought to the hospital 45 minutes away. The hospital is in Stephenville. There's also a hospital in Port aux Basques, an hour away, and Corner Brook, the biggest hospital in this part of the province, in about an hour and change, hour 15. So we will have a nurse, hopefully on staff, and a homeopathic medical practitioner. Even if it's just someone who studies herbalism, or Reiki, and that kind of stuff. If we can't solve it ourselves, there are hospital facilities nearby, and an ambulance 10 minutes away. The question was implied about the religiosity, as Malcolm Reynolds would say. about the project. We are not a religious community, but we are a pagan community, which may sound like a contradiction, but it's not really. We practice responsible irrigation, responsible agriculture, responsible recycling and garbage disposal, this kind of stuff, responsible construction. But we don't have public rituals. I hope we won't in the near future. I don't want this to become a religious commune, but you can have a pagan ideology, earth-worshipping ideology. The principles upon which a community was founded, the code of conduct, can be pagan and it not be a religious thing. So, if a person is squeamish about a religious cult, this isn't it. I'm actually resisting the idea of it being a religious theocracy type environment, so it won't be an issue. Esoteric people who are into tarot cards, crystals, energy work, music, dance, artistic things, organic food, natural fabrics, all these things are what we're based upon, and the fundamental idea of the project is based on that. And the last question that was brought up is, I cannot ever go without using the internet. It is the silver cord to information. Without that, one is going backwards. I completely agree. We will have the internet. I actually designed a system where we have wireless using solar-powered arrays on a grid that has overlapping fields of influence, so that an iPhone or an iPad or any smartphone, netbooks, laptops, computers have wireless access. The wireless devices will be MAC address sensitive, so we can't have someone walking down the street and start war driving the site. That way we can use technology to improve the facility of the project. We aren't going to be Luddite, Quaker, Mennonite, Shaker, whatever. We need to have technology responsibly in order to make this project work. Eventually the world will be without technology if things go the way they are, which means if we use less of it, we have less of a transition, and if we use it enough and learn how to live without it by integrating it and then slowly removing it from our life, then we actually may be able to get going faster and be in a better place when the end of times comes, depending on what level of conspiracy theorist you may be. So that covers all the questions, I think, that that a kind Don Cherryful asked. I can't, do one of these videos for every question we get, because we get quite a few, but thank you for everyone for commenting on posts. In brief, Salmon Fire made the comment that one of the Enigma song that I had for the powwow video was stolen at the time Rena used drinking the song. It doesn't make it any less beautiful a thing to listen to for the video. I'm not going to be that bent out of shape over it. And I'm glad for everyone else who made posts and this kind of stuff. Thank you all for watching. I will present more updates when I feel up to it. This weekend I've got a lot of work to do. I have 3 midterms next week. All 3 of the midterms are next week. I've got to prepare my thesis project proposal with one of the students who's already in the master's degree. If all goes to plan, by April 2015, I think, this calendar year, and then 2 more calendar years, I'll have an MA after my name in environmental policy. So, I've been boring you enough. Thank you all for watching, and I really hope that you enjoy the program, the video series. Find me on Facebook, and follow me along. I post some really interesting articles up there, I've been told. So, I hope you enjoy the work, and I hope you all have a great day. See you in the next video. Take care.